So what makes a good trainer? All right, so what's up? Let's get kind of back into part two of this series of do you need a trainer? Should you think about hiring a trainer, et cetera, et cetera. So this is going into part two, which I kind of want to break down my opinion of, what makes a good trainer. And this is an interesting topic because if you ask a handful, I don't know, 10, 15, 20 trainers, coaches, and even people off the street, you might get a lot of different answers for this one. So I'm going to kind of share certain things that I think are important qualities of a good trainer and what I think, don't matter as much, what I think is just icing on the cake or whatever. And then I'm going to somewhat go in and out of my bias as well too. So that this is, one thing I try to do a good job of separate as much as I can. But if you've seen any of the literature, it's impossible to entirely separate your bias or whatever. So I'll put these little kind of disclaimers as I go in and out of, what I think universally are good qualities and what ones I think, again, it's only a positive. So let's get into it. So again, this is a very interesting topic because how are we qualifying this? Is it people that have celebrity clients or athletes or things like that, people that are making the most money? Is it the most rapport? Is it the highest retention rate? Is it the best results and things like that? And it is a very, very, interesting and hard question to answer because I think it's a bit of kind of everything. But the first things I want to highlight when it comes to selecting a coach or trainer that I think is the most important, and this is going to be it's just so funny, but someone that you like hanging out with for 2, 3, 4 hours a week. You like what they have to say. You somewhat enjoy and like their training style. You leave the gym wanting a bit more. You come in excited for the sessions. It's something that you generally kind of look forward to a certain degree. I'm not saying that every single session that you're going to look forward to, but if you don't like spending time with this individual for whatever reason, this is probably not going to work long term. So those are, the biggest things. And it's so funny. I've done these kind of mentorships, and one of the guys running it was like, he was kind of joking that he's ran these clubs, and he's like, a lot of the times I'd rather hire these, bartenders and people that know how to actually be personable and speak with individuals over these fresh trainers out from college that know the book stuff, but they just can't talk with people. And it's funny, and ideally you want kind of both of those. You want the person, again, to be, you want it to be enjoyable to be around this person. You want them to be personable. You want to be able to have a conversation and things like that. Obviously not so much to the point to where it kind of bleeds into your session. So that is kind of the balance, and it is a tricky balance. I've even struggled with that, which is why, just because I'm a chatter, so what I do, like during rest intervals, I have a timer going on my iPad and things like that, just so I don't go over the time, because at the end of the day, you need to make sure that you're training and working out as well too. These people are paying good money for it. So before I get lost on a tangent here. So yeah, that's going to be number one is, do you enjoy the person? Do you enjoy the sessions? That trumps everything else. This is kind of what I tell any, whether it's a new coach looking for some general advice or new clients and stuff like that. We kind of break down. It's like, well, what do we need to get to reach any goal out there? And it doesn't matter what the goal is. It doesn't matter if it's losing weight, gaining strength. It doesn't matter if it's learning to play an instrument, learning a new language, getting a promotion at work, whatever. And that's going to be, consistency or adherence to whatever the plan, the program is. We need to be showing up. And then also we need to be giving some sort of efforts. In my opinion, there's a reason why I like these corny. I got effort on my hand with a crown. I know it's super corny and cheesy, and it's because I think effort is king. I think that can drive any adaptation that you're looking for, drive any results that you want. But it takes effort, So those are the biggest things. And then everything that influences that is what we need to break down. So again, is their personality and them individually, this coach, positively influencing adherence to showing up and giving effort. Okay, so those are the biggest things that trump everything. I don't care if you have the smartest brainiac coach, trainer out there, but if you don't like him, you don't show up and you don't give effort, then it doesn't matter. It's irrelevant at that point. So those are the two biggest pillars. Are you showing up and giving effort? And is it easier based on their personality type and things like that, and their coaching style and their programming and blah, 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 blah. Okay. So those are by far the biggest ones, okay? So again, I just want to get that out there, and this is separating my bias. You need this, you need this, you need this, you need this. Now, kind of putting in some of my bias, what are some of the training qualities that I think are important in a coach and stuff is, for me, I've become, I've been obsessed with this for, 14 years. And I do think someone that is passionate about this, I don't think this is just a job or career that you just do. It kind of bugs me when it's like, well, I like working out. So, and it's like, dude, it's very, very different. And this is it's not easy doing this. And I know any job or career is not easy, but it's not the easiest thing to do. So I do really feel like you need to be passionate about not just working out yourself, but also learning about programming and fitness and health and rehab. Everything that encompasses in an umbrella is fitness, health, nutrition. I truly feel like you should be learning. And this is similar to like a medical field where things are changing. We're getting new research and literature is coming out every day, week, month, or whatever. So I do think you need to stay on top of that as well. It bugs me when it's a coach that seems like they have not opened a book since they got their certification or whatever the hell 20 years ago. So I would look for someone that's actively pursuing continuing education, going to workshops, following good coaches, collaborating with good coaches, absorbing as much fitness content as they can to ideally, again, learn these things as we evolve and progress in the fitness industry, and also to clear up confusion and make it digestible for you. Another thing that's a big plus for me, and this is definitely my bias, is I try not to fully belong to just one tribe, one crew. You see that where people pigeonhole themselves into just one certification, whether it's FRC, functional patterns, blah, 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 and that's all they do. And I think it's very, very important to stay very open-minded with this stuff and do them all, discover all the kind of overshadowing principles of all these different systems and stuff. But I don't like when someone just does one system, or because they just tend to have some serious blinders on and then just funnel everyone into this exact same system. And I don't really like that, because these are all tools, and we should figure out the tool that's most applicable to said client or to said outcome that we're looking for. So I don't like when it's just the kettlebell guy. You know what I mean? That's kind of a turnoff to me, unless that's what you want to go down. Again, if you're like, I just want to get in then find the kettlebell guy. You know what I'm saying? But if you're kind of new to fitness, I'd find the guy that's done it all, and that we can try different things and figure stuff out and figure out the best way to kind of find your fitness that is fun and engaging and keeps you coming back for more and things like that. So that's going to be one of my big biases, just continuing education, making sure that they're going to different workshops and staying open, learning from everyone. That's a big one for me. Another one is, the programming side of things. Is there any data points that they're getting from you? Not to badmouth some of the trainers, but one of the gyms I train at, I'm the only one that logs anything for the most part. It's like, I don't fully understand that. I mean, I kind of do. I've gone kind of in and out, and I'll be honest, it's probably about a year and a half where I did not program nor jot down data points in terms of rep sets and stuff. And I'll be honest with you, that was kind of out of laziness because no other trainer at the gym did it. So I was like, well, why am I doing this? This takes me less time. I'm making more money, but it's fucking lazy. I'm going to be honest. So now when I see that, then I just assume you came in with very little plan, and the gym I worked at the time, that's how it was. Like I would constantly see coaches coming in and be like, maybe they knew it would be leg day, but they're like looking around, and it's like, dude, do you have any plan of what's fucking going on? How do you know that they're progressing? How do you know that you're achieving any type of progressive overload and things like that? So personally, I have something somewhat pre-programmed. And what I mean by that, because, and again, bear with me, I know I'm jumping around. The owner of the gym that I worked at, this was years ago, that said, I don't pre-program because, his take was like, how do I know how they're going to feel that day? How am I supposed to pre-plan progress and all this? And it's like, that's kind of short-sighted, because just because you have somewhat of a plan written down, that doesn't mean you need to stick to every exact number and whatnot. And this is why we use things like RPE, reps in reserve and whatnot, these subjective markers, because we understand that not every day is going to be consistent in terms of how they feel, energy levels and stuff like that. So auto-regulating is a big thing, but just because I know, okay, this is what we're going to do today and have some exercises and progressions there, that does not mean that we can't auto-regulate. I'm not going to force someone if they're not feeling that progression that I thought we had. Again, it's like we earn those progressions, we don't force them. So I still think a good coach can program and have everything written down and have these data points without forcing their clients to do it if they're feeling shitty or whatever. So I think that's kind of still of a cop-out response. So anyway, kind of long story short, I do think someone that's kind of pre-programming exercise and tracking stuff is a plus. Is it 100% needed? No. Again, go back to pillar 1 and pillar 2. I'm sure there's coaches that just pull things out of a hat for the most part, or have a general idea and still rock the workouts and still get great results and whatnot. Because at the end of the day, again, those pillar 1 and 2, dude, if you're showing up and giving effort, you're going to have results. You're going to have results regardless. So that also makes it hard, again, with qualifying this good trainer, because a lot of it is somewhat put on the clients as well, too. And again, not to this to be a full cop-out, because I think there's ways to help and have these conversations to help with effort and showing up and blah, 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 blah. Some of these are hard conversations. But if for whatever reason, this guy just has his clients, they're rocking, they're showing up and they're giving effort, even if there's not much method to the madness and he just has them jumping around like spazzes the whole time, they're still going to see results. Now, will they burn out faster? Will they get injured and things like that? And the answer could be maybe, and this could also be a differentiating factor of good trainers versus, more of these kind of novice trainers, of making sure that we're not just looking at just each individual session, and that they're playing off each other and they're building and stuff like that. Because cool if you can just do one great training program for a month, but we need to stack this over months and months and years, and we have to have an understanding about recovery demands and all these different things as well too, to make sure that we're not running into any of these overuse issues or any type of potential injuries, and keeping those off the table as much as possible. So this is why, again, having a plan is important, but it takes more work too. So that's another thing where it's like, I understand not fully doing that as well too from the coaches, because we're not getting paid. I mean, you should kind of build this into your hourly rate or whatever, but when I'm on the computer and interpreting some data and looking at stuff and learning, okay, here's a new training block, that's time that I'm, may or may not be getting paid for. So I think that's also why some trainers do or don't do that. So I'll cut it off there. This is 13 minutes. And again, I'll get a little better with these. I know I'm kind of rambling like fucking crazy here, but those are going to be my, recommendations for finding a good trainer. All right. So those first biggest, most important pillars: do you enjoy this person? Do you like hanging out with them? Are they motivating, inspiring enough for you to show up and give some effort and whatnot? Do you like what they have to say, et cetera, et cetera? And then of course, make it fun. It's so good, and not to toot my horn, but to toot my own horn. It's like, when I hear clients be like, this is the highlight of my day, I very much enjoy it. It's like, it gives me such a good freaking feeling. And I do chase that as much as I possibly can, because again, without that, we don't have anything, So I'm constantly auditing. What do you think of that session? What do you think of this week? How are you feeling? And blah, 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 blah. Because I want to keep that, stoke level as high as we possibly can. Because it just helps with keeping them involved and engaged in fitness. Okay, so those are those first biggest pillars. And then putting in my bias is someone that's working on continuing education and someone that's passionate about this craft. Again, I don't think this is just some willy-nilly job that you do just because you enjoy fitness. I do think this is something you should be extremely passionate about, because it's a long, hard fucking road. So learning and learning and learning and learning and doing as much as they can to consume as much education and content as they can to help make it digestible for their clients, I think is awesome. Most of the clients, if I'm like, dude, I just did this workshop, let's try some new stuff, like, they're fired up as well too. So you should constantly be pursuing that and becoming the best trainer you can, and not get lazy with that, and coast as much as you can. I'm not huge into that. And then kind of last one, again, is just tracking stuff, having a program in mind, having these different data points that we're checking up on, again, making sure that we're not just guessing. And I think you can do this in a way, and again, I don't like this, you're either this rigid, or we do this and you're boring, or you're the other way where it's like you don't track anything but it's fun and engaging. I think you can meet in the middle. I think a good coach meets in the middle, where they make things fun and engaging, but they also have data points. They also have these different progression models. They also have a blueprint of where we're at, where we're going to go, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And they know how to pivot as well too, once you hit, if once or if you do hit roadblocks, speed bumps, and stuff like that, a good coach knows where to go if there is a potential roadblock. So those are the main ones I want to touch on today. We're hitting 15 minutes, so let me know what you think below. For any coaches, do you agree? Do you disagree? What would you add? What would you take away? Et cetera, et cetera. And same thing with clients. I mean, I would really like to know from you guys, like, what do you think are very, very good traits for a trainer? How do you qualify a good trainer? What does that mean to you? And then part 3, I'm going to kind of go over where to look for some of these, for a good trainer. If you're new to this, again, I think there is a lot of confusion. Do I go down to the street, to the commercial gym? Do I go on Yelp? Do I go on Google? So I have some general ideas for you. But again, like, comment, subscribe. Thank you for your time. And yeah, if you have any comments below, let me know. All right, thanks. So this is the issue with me going off the cuff with these. I totally forget so much stuff. So it's a couple hours later and I want to add in a little bit more to this because of course I forgot to add the qualities that I don't think matter, that I think most people think matter or value the most. And what reminded me of this is I was scrolling Instagram and, oh God, I hate being negative, but there's this chick that I see on my Explore page, and I've stumbled upon her stuff a lot, and I guess she's a fitness coach, and it's like, none of her posts have anything to do with fitness or how she's helped people or how she's educated or whatever. She's just attractive, and it's, again, am I jealous, am I bitter, am I envious? Insert all that, 100%, 100%. But it just bugs the crap out of me because it's like, how is this person qualified at all? None of her posts have anything to do with how this is going to help you or anything at all. And it's like her hiking and being on a, you know, what's it called, a paddle board and shit. I'm like, what? This has nothing to do. Whatever, I digress, okay? So let's get into the qualities that don't really matter, and that's going to be at the top of my list. And so this is a hard one, and I understand that a lot of I don't want to say us, I'm going to say you guys out there, the Gen Pop or whatever, assume that, all right, the people that either have the greatest physiques or have the greatest feats of strength and stuff like that, therefore they must know something that I don't know. And from someone that, again, I've been obsessed with this since 2007. And this didn't come easy to me, and I'll eventually do a video on my biggest insecurity with the fitness industry, and that is kind of my physique, because if I go on Instagram and whatnot, I'm nothing crazy. I think I'm pretty decent for the normal individual and whatnot, and I can do some cool stuff, and I look pretty good. But again, based on social media, I barely look I can lift, you know. I look like I do some underwater basket weaving twice a week or something like that. So anyway, I'll get to that at a later point, but I've been obsessed with this. It has not come easy for me, and that has made me into a better coach, okay? I had a buddy that I trained with that growing up, he tended, now, I don't want to talk shit about him because I love this fucking guy, but in the beginning of the kind of fitness journey, things came easy for him. So he didn't have to do all the research that I did because he bench pressed and it worked. Oh, I do curls and it works. It didn't come to me that easy. So I had to fucking beat my head against the wall and try and fail and try and fail and research and research and research and research and research and research and research. So it's like one of those weird things where it's a gift and a curse. You know, I hated it that it came so hard to me, and I still don't have, like I said, an amazing fucking physique and whatnot. And I hate that people use that as a resume of like, well, that guy's bigger, so therefore he knows more than Chase. And it's like, unfortunately, I don't know. In my case or whatever, unfortunately, that's not the case. So yes, I would not put how they look or the things that they can do too high on a pedestal. And this was hard because I remember that time. Like I remember beginning of my fitness journey. If you were to ask me someone that I didn't think was immensely impressive, I would never ask them for advice. I would never ask for recommendations. So that's why this is tricky, and I am very biased because I fit into this camp, again, unfortunately. You know, and again, there's nothing wrong. If they have everything, awesome. But like I said, just don't put that on this crazy high pedestal to where it's like the only thing that they have. And you see this in social media, and it's so fucking frustrating. I follow these fucking TikTok kids that are like, all right, I'm a coach now. Because they just look decent and they've worked out and either have decent genetics or they're on gear or something like that. And it's so crazy to me, where for me it's like, dude, I have spent countless amount of time, energy, effort, hours perfecting this fucking craft, and they have a lot more intake form inquiries than I will ever fucking have. Again, this is some of my insecurities speaking out or whatnot. So, but please don't have that as number one or number two as a I want to look like them, so therefore I must follow the program. More times than not, that's not the fucking case, and I don't think that's going to be the coach for you. Or the even fucking worse, that I want to I want to hook up with that person, so I'm going to work with them or whatever. That shit bugs the living hell out of me. I don't know why that's relevant at all. So see what they have to say. Vet them in other ways too. Are they, is their content educational? Are you seeing client before and afters and things like that? And don't just go to, all right, I'm going to pick the most jacked guy that I want to look like because he has the secret. Because I promise you, there is no fucking secrets. And I'm going to let my ego out really here. I guarantee I know a billion times fucking more than them. And this is where it's hard. Like almost everyone that has been on the Olympia stage, I probably know more than. But I have 1/20th the physique, and I'll be honest, I am nowhere near them. Why is that? And this is where it's hard, because some people might say because you don't know what you're doing. I promise you, I've tried everything that they have fucking tried. It's either just genetics, gear use, whatever. But again, that could be a cop-out response as well too, so who knows, maybe I don't know shit. So I'll leave it at this one. Again, thank you so much for checking out this video. Like, comment, subscribe, let me know what you think, and I'll be back for part 3 with where to look to find a good trainer or coach. All right, thanks guys.